Welcome to Freddy's Flight Reviews, where today I'm at Las Vegas Harry Reid International Airport about to fly to San Francisco with United. We'll be on board a 26-year-old Boeing 737 riddled with catering issues and shoddy repairs, but despite that, it was still quite a good flight, so let's find out why. Jumping right into it, check-in and bag drop is pretty much all self-service here, and it works well enough, but you still have to queue to drop off your bag, which I always think kind of defeats the point of self-service. The TSA check was actually surprisingly calm and efficient, which was a first for me travelling through the US, and our flight was from the satellite building, so we just headed straight over on the People Mover. Las Vegas Airport is an interesting place, by the way. Very amusingly, well, to me at least, it was filled with slot machines, so people can lose even more money before they head home. But surprisingly, Terminal 3 just felt really quiet and empty. I say surprisingly because the airport is actually the 8th busiest in the whole of the US, with about 58 million passengers passing through in 2023. So it just seemed emptier than I would expect from an airport that handles as many passengers as the likes of Frankfurt and Bangkok. There also isn't a huge amount to do here except for gambling, and given how quick check-in and bag drop were, I would say you probably don't have to arrive too early, for domestic flights at least. Also, before going to the gate, we stopped at the Amex Centurion lounge. Not relevant to this United review, so I won't dwell on it too much, but it's a pretty good lounge and wasn't too busy whilst we were there at least. Plus, they have a slightly limited but tasty breakfast buffet, so if you have an Amex Platinum card, it's definitely worth a visit. And I'll be releasing a full review of this lounge for next week's video. For now though, it's back into the airport to head to our gate D54. And waiting at the gate was our plane for today, a 26-year-old Boeing 737-800 registered N17229. Also, this might be interesting to at least a few people, despite being so old it had been retrofitted with the new 737 MAX winglets. Also right by the gates they had another bank of slot machines, which I imagine get a lot of use when people have delayed flights. But I had already lost enough during my stay in Las Vegas, so I abstained. And our flight actually boarded slightly early, so that was good too. But before we step on board, here are the stats and route map for today's quick flight, where we would head over the impressive mountains and deserts of California to arrive in San Francisco almost half an hour early. We also went from 38 degree temperature in Las Vegas to just 21 degrees in San Francisco, so a pretty huge temperature drop. And now it's time for the seat tour, and it's actually quite comfy with soft and well padded leather and an adjustable headrest. But unfortunately legroom is pretty terrible, and bear in mind I'm quite short so it looks better than it is. You get a very small and old TV, a credit card reader for some reason, and the usual tray table and mesh pouch. Also, looking at the United credit card ad here, it makes me jealous because credit cards in the UK suck in comparison. Now here's the in-flight food and drink menu, but, and you'll soon find out why in a minute, there would be no service at all on this flight besides a cup of water. Usually you get a range of free drinks and snacks and can order larger meals or alcohol for a fee, but catering issues in San Francisco meant that wasn't possible today, so you'll just have to look at the menu and imagine what could have been. I always appreciate an adjustable headrest.
Good morning and good afternoon.
Lastly on the seat, I just want to note how tiny this TV is, literally the size of my palm. Also, talking about this aircraft showing its age, I noticed quite a few shoddy repair jobs like this throughout the cabin.
Help us out by placing roller bags in the overhead wheels first and smaller items under the...
And as we get ready to push back, here's the safety video, which was pretty cool. The whole thing is filmed like a Rube Goldberg machine.
Hi, and welcome. We're happy to have you aboard. We appreciate your attention as we get this safety video off and rolling.
FAA regulars to have your seatbelt on at all times. To fasten your seatbelt, slide the middle end and please take a moment to look around in order to familiarize yourself with the aircraft. This Boeing 737 is equipped with 4 exit doors, 2 on each side of the aircraft. If the doors are opened in an emergency, slides will automatically inflate in a water landing.
Exit path lights on or near the floor will illuminate and guide you to the exit. Look for a change in color or an exit sign to indicate that you have reached an exit.
Just a little service note, ladies and gentlemen, this aircraft did come in from San Francisco. I don't know if you are aware that there's catering issues in San Francisco, so we have very limited resources. So for those of you in the main cabin, we'll be coming through with waters only. Again, we have very limited resources, and there's nothing that we can do as flight attendants. So we do apologize for the inconvenience. So we will be coming through in the main cabin with waters only. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding. Welcome aboard.
And as you just heard in that announcement, absolutely no catering on this flight besides water. Mildly annoying as I was looking forward to a stroopwafel, but it was only an hour long, so no huge issue. Now, here's the takeoff. Now looking at the IFE system, and it's basically just like a cable TV where you choose your channel. No touchscreen either, you have to use the buttons in your armrest. Fine for a 1 hour flight, but again, if we're comparing it to other airlines around the world, it's basically 2 generations behind what most offer. United also have free unlimited Wi-Fi on all flights, but that didn't work for either mine or my wife's phone. And here's the service for today's flight, just a glass of water due to those catering issues in San Francisco. But I don't blame them too much for that, as apparently the catering issues had been going on for weeks already, as they just moved to a new catering provider who completely botched the transition, and only affected flights to and from San Francisco, so probably isn't representative of the United experience in general. But anyway, that's about it for today's flight, so get ready to enjoy some scenic views as we make our approach into San Francisco.
Welcome you to San Francisco, where the local time is 10:19 a.m. We hope you enjoy your time in San Francisco or wherever your travels take you. And if this is home, welcome home. Once we arrive at the gate, we'll be handing you off to our airport team. Still be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
And here we are in a very cloudy San Francisco, one of United's major hubs. We actually arrived so early our gate wasn't ready for us, so we went and parked for about 5 minutes, and this meant we got to see this cool ANA Pokemon plane. Overall, I'd say that this flight has reinforced my view that United are just a pretty middle-of-the-road airline. Not bad, but certainly not an airline I would seek out over any others. This plane, and in fact the Boeing 777 I flew straight after to Honolulu, were both very old and it showed. In-flight service, when not affected by catering issues, is also average, though it is in line with other major US carriers, and I do have to admit I love a stroopwafel. The seat again is just fine, but really is showing its age today. But maybe United's redeeming feature is their super friendly cabin crew, in my experience at least, and also that this was the cheapest option for me flying from Las Vegas to Honolulu today. So after all that, I'll give them a 6 out of 10 on my airline tier list, where I rank every airline I've flown on this channel so far. Now if you want to see my review of the connecting flight onto Honolulu on a United Boeing 777-200, then click the screen or the link in the description below. And that was a similar but slightly better experience overall. Thanks a lot for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe if you made it this far, and goodbye.